great basketball. That's what should be celebrated. And that's what we're getting. We're getting the two best teams. Teams have been the two best players, teams in the playoffs.
The drama surrounding Olivier Rioux doesn't start on the hardwood. It starts the moment he walks into a room, 7 feet 9 inches tall. He doesn't just command attention, he rewrites expectations. In a league where Victor Wembanyama and Edey are already towering figures at 7 feet 4, Rioux makes them look average. And the most haunting part of his story is only 18, still growing, still learning, still waiting for the moment the world decides whether being too tall for basketball is a curse, a gift, or something in between. When fans watched him casually cut down the championship net after Florida's national title. Victory without even needing a ladder, it felt less like a celebration and more like a statement. This wasn't just another college athlete basking in glory. This was a phenomenon, an anomaly, a potential revolution in basketball sizing. But despite all the photos, the viral moments, and the headlines, Olivier Rioux's journey is still a mystery most can't quite make sense of, long before that championship moment. Long before the Florida Gators, and long before viral videos showed him towering over competition. Olivier was just a boy growing up in Canada, except he wasn't. Just a boy. By 5, he was taller than his kindergarten teacher. By 8, he was 6 feet tall. By 12, he was 7 feet. And by 14, he became the tallest teenager in the world at a staggering 7'5". His name was etched into the Guinness World Records book. But it was his presence on the court that truly shook people. There's footage from when he was just 12, moving through defenders like they weren't even there because, in a literal sense, they weren't. He dwarfed his peers. NBA players began to take notice. Steph Curry himself commented on a post saying he had so many questions. And those questions: what's it like to grow up like this? To move like this? To exist like this? Or what make Olivier's journey so fascinating? Born in February 2006 to athletic parents, Olivier's trajectory seemed inevitable. His mother, Anna, played volleyball. His brother Camille, 6'8", played basketball. But Olivier was the one destined to defy definition. After making waves in Canada's AAU scene, he crossed the Atlantic to train with Real Madrid's famed basketball academy. Yes, the same club that developed Luka Doncic, but it was in the United States, at IMG Academy, that Olivier began shaping his destiny. IMG doesn't just take on athletes, they build them. They had a blueprint. Edey, another towering Canadian, had arrived at IMG a few years earlier with no real basketball future. He wanted to be a baseball player. The coach's patient and methodical slowly crafted him into a star. Edey went on to become a back-to-back National Player of the Year, led Purdue to the championship game, and was drafted 9th overall by the Memphis Grizzlies. If IMG could mold Edey, surely they could shape Rioux. Olivier's daily life at IMG was grueling. Strength training, skill work, endurance drills, nutrition plans, endless scrimmages. Rebounding and blocking came naturally to him, so did scoring. In close. But what IMG focused on was sustainability. Could he stay on the floor? Could his body handle the grind? That's where real work began. His minutes were limited early on, appearing mostly in blowouts. But with time, the development was undeniable. Got stronger, quicker, more coordinated. The national team took notice. He debuted for Team Canada in the Under-16 FIBA Americas Tournament in 2021 at just 15. He averaged nearly a double-double, 8.3 points and 10.3 rebounds with 2.5 blocks. Against the United States, loaded with future NBA stars like Robert Dillingham and Ron Holland, Rioux didn't back down. He recorded 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 blocks. He wasn't a gimmick. He was competing at the highest youth level and holding his own. He returned in 2023 for the FIBA U19 World Cup, this time as one of the youngest players. His minutes were limited. He was only 17 in a field filled with 18. A 19-year-old pro's in the making, but he made the most of his opportunities. In one standout game against Japan, he posted 10 points on nearly perfect shooting with 5 rebounds and a block. Again, the pattern was clear in short bursts. Olivier Rioux was undeniably effective. By 2024, he was back on the court for the under-18 tournament, this time with expectations towering almost as high as he stood. His stats were modest for 0.5 points, 4.5 rebounds. It's 2 blocks per game, but those who had been paying attention understood. Rioux wasn't being developed for high school dominance. He was being groomed for longevity. IMG played the long game with Edey. They were doing the same with Rioux. When he finished high school, recruiting services didn't exactly roll out the red carpet. Rioux was listed as a 3-star prospect by 247 Sports, ranked 313th in the country. Scouts called him a low-post menace, with great hands but limited mobility. The common assumption? He might be a college contributor, maybe even a strong bench piece, but not NBA material. And yet, those same services had labeled Zach Edey the 75th best center in his class. Rioux was ranked 55th at the same age. So if Edey was a project turned star, why couldn't Olivier write the same story? Despite offers across the country, Olivier stayed in Florida, choosing the Gators. But fans weren't ready for what came next. He didn't play a minute during the 2024-25 season. Instead, he redshirted. Not because he wasn't talented, but because the program had a long-term vision. Coach Todd Golden was clear. He wouldn't waste a year of eligibility for a few meaningless minutes just to appease the crowd. This wasn't a circus act. It was a professional process. And what a season it was. Florida went 36-4. They won the SEC. They won the NCAA National Championship. And Olivier Rioux, benched, was right there for the entire journey. Practicing with MVP Walter Clayton Jr., traveling, learning, growing, not just in height, but in poise, understanding, and experience. When next season arrives, he won't be the new kid. He'll be the 7 feet 9 inches redshirt freshman on a title-defending team, ready to make a real impact. But this story isn't a fairy tale. It's filled with questions. The most important one being, is Olivier Rioux too tall to play in the NBA? It might sound absurd, but history provides some cautionary tales. Taco Fall, another towering giant, made waves in college and even battled Zion Williamson in the NCAA tournament. But in the NBA, he barely played. The game had moved on. Slow, immobile bigs became defensive liabilities. In a league defined by switches, spacing, and speed, they were out of place. Victor Wembanyama changed that narrative, but not because of his height. He succeeded because of what he could do with it. Moves like a guard, shoots like a wing, defends like a center. He's an outlier, a unicorn. Rioux will have to prove he's not just tall but capable. Can he move his feet? Can he handle pick and rolls? Can he stretch the floor? Or at least not become a liability in spacing? No one knows for sure. But what makes Olivier different from others before him is his desire. This isn't a kid pushed into basketball because of height. This is a young man who loves the game. Coaches rave about his work ethic. He's not chasing clout. He's chasing greatness. And now, with 4 years of eligibility, a national title under his belt, and the full support of one of the best programs in the country, Rioux has timed something most prospects never get. If he continues on this trajectory, proves conditioning, refines his footwork, and stays healthy, then yes, the NBA isn't just possible, it's plausible. Might even be inevitable. Because while the game is faster than ever, and bigs are expected to shoot, pass, and defend in space, there's always room in the league for someone who's unique. Someone who can alter every shot, command every rebound, and give opposing teams a matchup nightmare unlike anything they've ever seen. By the time the 2029 NBA draft rolls around, Olivier Rioux will be 23 or 24 years old, mature, experienced, battle-tested, and quite possibly standing at 8 feet tall. No player in NBA history has reached that mark. No player in history has ever combined that kind of size with this kind of pedigree. So maybe the real question isn't whether Rioux will make it. Maybe the question is whether the NBA is ready for him. Let us know what you think. Can Olivier Rioux defy history and make it to the NBA? Could he become a dominant force despite his overwhelming high tour? Will the league's demands be too much for someone so unique? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the future of basketball.